What's up guys, it's me Sean here. Today let's make a Powerball number generator program by using C# and Visual Studio. So right now I'm using Visual Studio 2013, but you can also use 2015, which is out for free on the internet right now. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go into File section and then go to New Project. And make sure you choose Windows Form Application, and right next to it it says Visual C#. You don't want to choose Visual Basic or other language because this tutorial is about C#, right? That's obvious. And let's rename this project so that we can tell which one it is. So let's name it something like Lotto or whatever. And you can choose the location of the folder, but I won't do that, but you can do it if you want to. And once you name it, just hit OK. It will take a little bit here. Okay, now done. So once you do it, you'll be brought into the screen here with a bunch of toolboxes on the left, bunch of properties on the right side. So if you don't see them, you will see toolbox on the left tab here, and you will see properties on the right tab here. You just need to click that and then hit that pin button if you want to. But anyway, so let's get started. So the very first thing I usually do is I usually format this form. That's what I usually do first. So let's make this form a little bit larger, and why not we make it so that users cannot click the maximize box. So we can go down to the properties, and then all the way on the bottom you'll see the maximize box, and we can set that equal to false, and now users cannot hit maximize button, but they can hit minimize button. Okay, now here the icon is there, but it's not related to whatever we're trying to do, right? So we can actually set the show icon to false, so the icon disappears. Nice. So now let's change the text of the title here into something different. So Lotto generator or something like that. And if we change the text, notice the text on the top will change also. Let's change that to capital G. Okay, so now let's run it and see what it looks like. Oh, the only problem right now is that users cannot hit maximize button. They can hit minimize, right? But the only problem here is that they can actually adjust this program as they want to. So what we can do is we can actually set that so users cannot resize the borders, and you can find that by going into form border style under appearance section, and you can choose fixed single so that when the users run this program, they won't be able to resize our program anymore. So it stays as what it is. So that's it. So now we're done with setting up the forms. I think we can always come back. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add a menu strip. Menu strip. Just type in menu strip here, and then you will be able to add them. So for the menu strip, you can actually type in something like about, and let's make another one quit. And under the about section you can just hit about, and then under the about let's put something like credit. And quit we don't have to, so just leave it like that. So we have to give a functionality to these menus here. So when users push quit, so let me run this real quick. So when the users hit quit, the application is supposed to quit, right? And when users hit about and credit, it's supposed to show credit informations. So let's do that first because we want to go one by one here. So all you got to do is double click that quit area and it will generate an event that says quit tool strip clicked. So when the quit tool has been clicked, it will perform what? Application dot exit. So what it will do is it will actually exit out of the application. So when we run it here, so when users hit quit, now it's going to close our application. Nice. So now how about when users click credit? So double click that there, and we're going to do is we're going to show a message box. So we have to type message box dot show with double quotes, comma, double quotes. So we will have two different strings in, don't forget the semicolon, two double strings divided by comma, right? So the first string here represents what's the content will be. The second string represents the title of that message box. So we can say something like, oh, thanks for using \n for new line, and by shawnkoon version 1.0 or something like that. And for the second string here, we can do something like about this program. That should work, and let's run it and see if it works. Okay, now if we go about and credit, you'll see that it shows up here, and users have to press OK to continue. So now that we are done with general functionality, let's start making actual programming part. So first we need to make a button. What kind of button? We need to make a number generator button here. So in the text section of that button, we're going to change that into generate numbers, something like that. Ooh. So let's change the font to something like 28. So let's resize it a little bit because it's a little bit big. Okay, that works perfect. Okay, so now there's a button here. When users click this, the numbers will generate. So how do we make the numbers to generate? We have to put a panel first. So let's put a panels. Think of panel as something like a box. Yeah, box to put numbers in, right? Because in this case, we're trying to put numbers. Let me increase this size here a little bit. Okay, so here, this is the box where the numbers will go into. So what we can do is we can actually change the color of the box by going into a back color. And then go to web, and you'll see white here. So those of you who never played Powerball before, there will be a total of 6 numbers, 5 white balls and 1 red ball, right? And 5 of the white balls are picked out of the number 1 through 59. And the last red one is picked out of 1 through 35. So you can actually find the detailed game information on the internet, so I won't go too details, but just remember it's 5 white numbers and 1 red one. So let's do that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to change the name of this panel to something like slot 1. So the first slot, and then we will have total of 6 for the 6 numbers, right? So we can actually Control C it to copy it, and then we can paste it and move it to right next to each other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last number will be red one. So we go to back color and then we hit red. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white numbers and one red one. So now it's time to change the names to slot 2 and slot 3, 4. This is the time wasting part, right? And the last one, 6. Okay, so now we're done setting up here. We can actually select all of them and then we can move it around with our arrow keys. Okay, so now that we are done with making those 6 spaces for the numbers, let's put numbers inside. So we can put numbers by setting the labels into our form here. And then after you put label inside of one of the slot here, what you can do is you can actually rename this into num1 because that will be the actual number when we generate them. And then let's change the text into empty text. Actually, yeah, we don't even need to set the text. But here you gotta do a few things. So first we have to get rid of this auto size functionality so that we can reset the size of that label there, and we can change the dock property into this center so that it will fill up that panel with that label thing. And we can change the text alignment into the center of the screen so the numbers will appear in the center every time we generate them. So actually, let's see. So if we were to get like 59 as a number, notice it's going to appear in the middle. But it's too small, so we have to increase the size. So let's change to something like 22. And let me use different font here. Oh, that looks good. So now after you do that, what you can do is you can actually copy this and paste it into each individual panels. So here you have, of course you have to change the name of the labels, right? So this will be num2 and this will be num3 and this will be num4 and this will be num5 and this will be num6. So now that we're done with setting all the numbers, let's erase the text because we don't want 59 to appear when they first run the program. So let me get rid of all the numbers here. And that's it. So yeah, let's get into coding. So what we got to do is we have to double click this generate number button. So we are going to make a event for it. So let's double click the generate numbers and you'll be brought into this screen here. So go all the way to the top under the public partial class form1. You will have to do some initialization. Initialize. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a random num generator equals new random. So we just created a random object, right? And after that we're going to put a integer value equal to set 0, and that will be the value will have the number in it. So when the button 1 is clicked, what we want to do is we want to change all the numbers in our form so that the randomly generated numbers will appear, right? So what we can do is we can actually make a method. So let's put something like generate numbers. So we have to create a method here, right? Private void generate numbers. And let's write some code. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to set that value equal to random number for the first number, right? So value equals random, what did I name it? Oh, numgen. Okay, numgen dot next, and we're going to put 1 comma 60. So what it will do is numgen will go through and pick one number out of between 1 and 60. So it will actually find number between 1 and 59. And that's how the Powerball works. So that's perfect. So let's set the first number, num1, text equal to value. But we have to change this to toString because value has value of what? The integer, right? But the text is a string, so we have to change that value into string. So after you do that, it's time for us to set the second number. So value equals numgen again, dot next, 1 comma 60. So actually let me copy this. Okay, so after you do that, you have to check because so let's say you pick 35 on the first number, right? That means throughout the rest of the 4 numbers cannot be 35 anymore. So you cannot have same number over and over. So we have to check whether the second number has been already used before. So we can do that by setting while loop and say something like while num1.text. Oh, actually let's do this, sorry. Value dot toString dot equals num1.text. So if this value here is same as what we got before, then we are going to reset the value, and we can do that by doing this, val equals numgen.next. So after this while loop ends, we are guaranteed that the second number will be what? Independent from the first. So we can actually store that into a num2 text. So val.toString, same thing there. And time for the third one. Guess what? We can actually just copy this and paste it here, but just change a little bit. So instead of just checking for that first number now we have to worry about the second number also, right? So we have to put or symbol, and we put that same exact stuff, just change this to num2 instead. And now that you're guaranteed that num3 will have independent number, you can just store it after that loop. And num4 will be same, like you have guessed probably. And you just need to put or function here and then copy this. It's like a lot of copy and paste. But yeah, so now that num4 is guaranteed to be independent, and we just put that 4 there. And last white ball, so we just put one more, but we're gonna add one more thing, right? And we're going to add that thing there, but change that into num4. So num4, so make sure that number hasn't appeared in num4 either. So now last one, change to num5. Okay, now we set all the numbers into some kind of random number, right? So now it's time for the red ball. The red ball part is pretty easy because the red ball numbers don't rely on these numbers, so that even though, like, let's say 5 have appeared on the number 2, so that doesn't mean you cannot have 5 in the red ball. So red ball is completely independent from the other 5, so it doesn't matter whether it already appeared or not. So what we can do is we can actually set it to the random number, but it has to be 1 through 35. So we're going to go 1 through 36. Because we always have to go one more for the random numbers, right? And after that, we're just going to set it. So num6.text equals val.toString, and that's it. So right here, we set num1, num2, num3, num4, num5, num6 every time the button clicks. So now that we set every code, let's run it and see if it works. So here's our program. So about, there it is. And if we hit generate numbers, notice the number changes. So because we put that while loop logic there, all of these numbers are independent, but the red one can appear no matter what. So yeah, that's it. So that's how you make the Powerball lottery number generator. So if you have any other questions, please leave questions on the comment below. And if you like this video, please hit like. If you want more videos, please subscribe for future tutorials. Thanks.